Huge news to report. The first people infected by COVID, the patients 0, were in fact Chinese scientists at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Moreover, these 3 scientists were engaged in gain-of-function research on SARS-like coronaviruses when they fell ill. This is according to new reporting from Michael Schellenberger, Matt Taibbi, and Alex Gutentag. Michael Schellenberger joins us now to explain more. Thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Good to be with you guys.
So lay it out for us. What is the evidence here that the initial infection was, in fact, among the very people you would expect to be most likely to be first infected if the COVID was a result of a lab leak incident?
Sure. So we have it from multiple people in the U.S. government, very careful not to identify these people, very nervous and afraid this information is classified, which I don't understand why. And we don't know for how long, but we think for a while now, maybe since the beginning. But yes, these 3 researchers include Ben Hu and 2 others who were directly involved working with the coronaviruses that are very similar to SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID. And they were working in that part of the lab for Xi Jinping, who's the scientist that headed up the gain-of-function research. So when we told experts that had been people arguing that there was a serious chance that it came from a lab, when we told them it was Ben Hu, who was one of 3 patient 0, as we call the first people to get the disease, nobody was surprised, and they were actually more angry that it had taken so long for this information to get out, which I think is a big part of the story too, which is why was this classified? Why did it take so long to know this? Why did we have to be the ones that found this out? Why is the government keeping so many secrets from us? So I think there's a bunch of big questions here, but I do feel like we are now at a place of, at least for me, 100% came from the lab, and we know who got infected first.
And tell the audience more about who is Ben Hu and his connection to research done on bats and coronaviruses, et cetera.
Well, so Ben Hu is sort of the number 2 under Xi Jinping, who's the person that heads up the gain-of-function research for the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Ben Hu's he's the lead author on some of the most important academic publications and studies. Ping Yu is another author of these studies. So it's just sort of exactly what you would predict. The people that were messing around with this virus, that were looking to insert the furin cleavage site into a spike protein that would have the result of increasing infectiousness, they got sick first. I mean, it's just there's actually something that's totally not shocking about it. The most shocking thing about it is, why did it have to come out this way? Why did it take 3.5 years? Who knew? When did they know? Why was everybody so scared to tell us? This was a big cover up that was going on, and we know it involved the Chinese government. Why was the United States government not revealing this? Who knew about this? And why were they spreading disinformation suggesting that anybody who even raised this issue was engaged in a conspiracy theory? In fact, there was a conspiracy, which was to keep this information secret. And it should make us angry, because had we had this information earlier, obviously we would have saved a lot of time talking about raccoon dogs and penguins. But there also might have been something we could have done at the beginning of the pandemic had we known where it came from.